The story of Blue Lock is one that seems simple, and it kind of is in execution, but it does its job so well. The intensity that you feel is so strong, and I love it so much. Let's talk about it. Like I said before, the story of Blue Lock is intense. You find 300 high school strikers, you put them in one program and say, hey, one of y'all can change the national Japanese soccer team. But only one, and then you have to compete. This feels very Hunger Games-esque or Hunter Exams adjacent. So it's almost like the two of them had a baby and then you sprinkle some soccer on top of it. I'm not sure why you would do that, but we get Blue Lock. It's such an interesting dynamic because you have these players competing alongside each other to be the best and to beat the other teams while also competing against their teammates. It's a competition within a competition, which is good, and you see the characters evolve and you see them devour each other. Not literally. If you haven't seen it, that makes no sense, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And this is really fun. This is fun and enjoyable to watch. Every match feels like people's lives are on the line. And again, people are not actually dying here. This is not the actual Hunger Games, but their hopes and dreams are on the line. So depending on your outlook on life, losing your hopes and dreams can be a lot worse than losing your actual life. But I mean, I'll leave that for you to decide. But given their actual stakes in every match and every moment, you see these players wringing out every bit of potential that they can find within themselves so they don't go home, so they can live up to their own dreams and expectations. And it just creates a really tense but exciting atmosphere. Like, if you're not someone who competes in sports, you will still probably feel the intensity. I don't compete in sports and I felt intense. My heart rate was pounding while I watched them compete. And I wanted the main character to win, but I mean, of course he might win. He's the main character, but you don't know if he will because it's so intense and he's not the best, but he tries to be. Blue Lock does a great job with creating tension in the story, creating an intense atmosphere, because that's what this is. This is the last chance for all these people. All of these people here want to compete, want to be the best in the nation one day. Some of them have it better than others. Some of them are more naturally skilled and have had more played into their favor. Others, not so much, but they all have a chance to compete. And the rule is, it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter who you are. If you can play, then you play. If you can show out, then show out. And that's what they're all trying to do here. They're trying to show out. But when you have a team of strikers, people whose goal in the game is simply to score, and you have them playing a team where defense kind of matters, where goalkeepers are necessary, where teamwork is important, and you tell them again to compete against each other for that one spot, egos will arise. But that's the point of all of this. The point is to develop the egos of the players. And you can be egotistical and still be a team player, right? I mean, think about it. You have strikers who score goals. If their whole mindset is solely focused on scoring, you can win, right? Well, yeah, but at the same time, no. Blue Lock talks about that. If you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. But I just really enjoy, I really love how they put us in a situation that seems really weird, but it makes sense because it's anime, but also it's like, it just doesn't make that much sense. The story of Blue Lock is just really intriguing. It's different, it's fun. And then you have the characters. The characters in Blue Lock are soccer players, which is pretty obvious, but I'll explain what that means in a little bit. It's also a large cast. Like I said, it's 300 people competing for the top spot, with every stage that goes by eliminating the bottom few people who couldn't make the cut. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, and the story also lacks, in my opinion, traditional character development, which may sound bad, but it's not. In my wording of the situation, I'd say they sacrifice traditional character development for on-the-go developments. Well, what do you mean? Basically, what I mean is the development happens on the field. Sometimes it happens off the field in retrospect, but more often than not, the character development happens on the field. And it revolves around soccer. Like I said earlier, they are soccer players. All the development that happens pertains to them as soccer players, pertains to soccer and them, nothing else. All these people have been stripped down from anything else and it's solely just soccer, which means that the development can take place on the field and it makes sense. And we're not missing out on anything that we need to get because, like I said, these are soccer players first, anything else second. And it's really genius, actually. Like, the idea of making people so wholly focused on one thing allows you to talk solely about them in that context, but given the story, it makes sense why they're basically just soccer players. Of course, they'll have different quirks, but it makes sense because everyone here has, in some way, shape, or form, devoted their life, even though they're all high schoolers, which is only like, what, 15-ish years maybe? But they devoted their life to being soccer players, to being strikers, to being the best, and that's their identity. That's what they choose to put all of themselves into. So it also makes more sense as to why losing here, going home here, is not literally killing them, but it's taking a part of them and removing it from their existence for the rest of their lives. I see why they're fighting tooth and nail to stay in here. It also adds more tension to the story. It makes me a lot more invested. We also have to talk about how this story keeps us intrigued. How does it keep us coming back week after week? Well, it came out last year, but I just watched it. So for me, it was week after, episode after episode. There we go. How does it keep us coming back episode after episode? Well, one, we understand what's happening. Whether you play soccer or not, the story does a pretty good job of showing us and explaining to us what is happening to give us a slight breather in the match action that occurs almost every episode. I don't feel lost. You don't feel lost. No one feels lost. Honestly, I actually appreciate what's happening more because I understand what's happening and how it occurred, which is really great. And also, like in most other battle shonen, because yes, this is a battle shonen in my opinion, each character has unique abilities or powers, not like powers like telekinesis or can shoot fire from one half of their body. No, but just like soccer skills. So they're really good at dribbling, or they have great spatial awareness, or they have a great physique that allows them to just move quickly or bum rush and block out people with their physique, which makes every interaction, every match slightly different. The formula is pretty consistent throughout, but the change up is the personnel they have, because the main character, Yoichi Isugi, is playing alongside some great talents and against some great talents, and then that changes because the people he plays against become some teammates sometimes, and those he plays with become antagonists. There's a constant shuffling of who is on the main character's side and who he's against, even though ultimately it's everyone for themselves. The story does a great job of keeping us hooked in because it's always changing the formula, even though this formula stays similar to what it has always been. We understand what's happening, we understand the rules, but we still get surprised by people's evolution, because yes, they have skills, but those skills need to evolve to be number one, right? And they do. Yes, someone can dribble the ball really well, but there's always room for improvement. Yes, someone can be spatially aware of the field around them, but there's always ways in which you can be better with how you move in that field and how you position others, right? And seeing that evolution, seeing each individual devour their competitors and their teammates to get better, seeing them break down themselves to build themselves back up stronger than ever is really, really enjoyable. Blue Lock is an anime that I didn't expect to like as much as I do. It's different than other sports anime that I've watched. Like I said before, the traditional character development isn't there in the same way like it would be in Haikyuu or Aoashi. But what it does do, it does really well because it knows what it is. I like what Blue Lock is. I do wonder if season 2 can hold up as well as season 1 did. For those who don't know, season 2 was slated to come out in October of this year, and I really hope that season 2 can take what season 1 did and push it further, if not stay the same. If you can't push past what season 1 did, at least don't fall behind, right? And I guess we'll see. I don't want Blue Lock to be a flash in the pan success. I want it to keep going because I really enjoy the story. It's a very unique experience for me, and I appreciate that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And with all that being said, I have been Wheat. Thank you for watching. If their whole mindset is... Jeez.